After over 200 plus hours in Palworld, people have constantly asked, who is the best pal in the game? Who is the strongest? And yeah, the legendaries are good. They are. But they're not stronger than a perfectly bred Shadowbeak. Shadowbeak is the top of the ladder. And what you're watching right now is the first few towers I'm taking on. To give an example, additionally, I'm punching the boss to show that the damage multiplier isn't higher on this server, I guess. Someone said that's possible. Listen, I do everything on a streamer and a YouTuber server. I show everything I do while I do it. You know, nothing is free, instant. The settings are almost always set to default normal, just normal, okay? So if you have yours turned up, I can't tell you, but ours are set to normal. And I punch these things to prove that, hey, look, like my damage, you know, I hit him, it does like 10 damage. Shadowbeak is just that strong, okay? Now, it does take a lot of breeding to make him that way, and the right traits and everything. It's a perfect storm. The party is built around him. He is super strong. And the main reason I wanted to use him was I liked him as a mount, flying him around, and because of his exclusive ability, which you're watching me use, called Divine Disaster. It is by far the strongest move in the game that I have encountered. And I was like, dude, this guy could be just one of the top tier pals. And then I kind of did some research and was finding pals that would help him get stronger. And I was like, I actually think he is the strongest. And we made it happen. So, you saw some examples here of his strength. Let's get into the actual video portion of how he got this way and where can you get one. Before I go into the explanation on how Shadowbeak is the strongest pal in the game, if you don't have one and you'd like to get one, you can catch one in the far northeastern Safari Zone. Way up here. It's level 40 though, so you might want to use like a Hypersphere or above, Hyper Ultra Legendary. That's your best bet. If yours does not know the move Divine Disaster yet, by the way, people were asking me this, it will learn it. It will learn it. It's an exclusive skill. Only Shadowbeak can learn it. But he learns it like level 40, 41-ish. So if yours doesn't have it yet, you gotta level him up a little bit. Additionally, to go into detail here, Shadowbeak has all attack passives. Ferocious for plus 20, Musclehead for plus 30%, Lord of the Underworld for plus 20% dark attack damage, and Legend for plus 20% attack as well. Just at base value here, this is half of his attack power, pretty much. Wait, stop. Legend and Lord of the Underworld? What are those passives? Some of you may be asking. Those passives come from a legend in the north called Necromus. He's a dark type legendary. You can catch him, and when you catch him, you can breed those passives down. Now, I bred him multiple times to get him over to Shadowbeak. So I have to look at my little chart here. I did Necromus with Pyron Noct to get an Astagon with both those abilities, and then I did an Astagon with a Kitsune to get Shadowbeak with both those abilities. So I had to do it multiple times to transfer those traits onto Shadowbeak. All right? Makes sense? Now let's continue. It's 1,725, okay? With no one in the party, by myself. Now, of course, I enhanced his attack, strength, whatever, his attack, defense, and max health, all to 30% using the souls. But that's just, like I said, the base amount of Shadowbeak. That's where he starts off once he's level 50. This is also a 23 out of 30 IV attack power Shadowbeak. There are IVs in this game, if you guys are familiar with Pokemon. If you're not, it basically means there's a range of what his attack can be. 0 is the lowest possible, 30 is the highest. So his attack can range from somewhere in like the 1500 range to 1830, 1815. So I'm kind of the upper sphere of it. It's not a totally perfect Shadowbeak, but it is very good. Now, one of the reasons Shadowbeak is so strong is because of his own partner skill, Modified DNA. It can be ridden as a flying mount, enhances dark attacks while mounted. It doesn't tell you how much, but I did the math on it. It's 10% per level. So once you're a 4-star or level 5, you're doing 50% more damage with Shadow, which is all of his abilities. Divine Disaster is, like I said, the best move in the game, in my opinion. Nightmare Ball is just a good intermediate long-range ability, and Poison Blast is really strong because you want a spammable move, and it has the additional poison effect, which is insane. I mean, insane. It is so undervalued. People do not use Poison Blast enough. So, how does Shadowbeak become the best? Well, it's mostly because of a special little pal called Hucrates. These little boys here. Now, I bred them, again, for perfect passives. Vanguard, Motivational Leader, Stronghold Strategist, and Ferocious. That ups their own attack as well, and just makes them good to have in the party by raising my own abilities as the player. My own defense, my own attack. It doesn't help Shadowbeak, it's just my own personal character tankiness and damage. So, his attack right now is 1725. Let's say we throw Perfect 1 into the party. Now it's 1928. Let's throw Perfect 2 in there. Now it's 2131. Perfect 3, we're up to 2334. And where is Perfect 4 at? He's hiding somewhere. Perfect 4. 2537. Now that's not where it ends, because there's also food in this game that gives you 20% attack power. Now Shadowbeak is sitting at, bring it up, let me see it, 3,044 attack. And that's before Lord of the Underworld, which increases his dark attack by 20%, and Modified DNA, which increases his dark attack by 50%, is applied. That's just character attack power, sheet attack power. Then you can add the 70% on top of it. It's insane. If you're wondering now, why did his attack get so high? Well, again, this is the special little Hoocrates we have. These guys' abilities, Dark Knowledge, says while in team, increase the attack power of Dark Pals. You don't have to have them out, they just have to be on the team. Now, it's 10% by default, and it goes up an additional 2% for every level. So these are all 4-star Hoocrates. So it's 20% per Hoocrate in the party. Yes, I did breed 116 Hoocrates for each one of these in the party. So you have not only a 4-star Shadowbeak, 116 Shadowbeaks bred for that, but 470, roughly, Hoocrates to make Shadowbeak the most unstoppable force in Palworld. It took almost a week, but this guy can fight anything in the game, okay? Even when it doesn't have an advantage. You saw it fighting Orsurk, which resists dark. I have taken this Shadowbeak and I have soloed, and I'm not going to include it in this video because I already showed you 3 of them, but I have soloed every tower in the game, including the far northern tower for the PAL Genetic Research Unit, where you have to fight a Shadowbeak yourself, or Falrus in the PIDF tower. It has soloed the entire game at this point. It is the strongest I have come up with. I don't think anything's above it. I have seen the Sweepa videos. I have seen, there's other guys that can be close, like, for example, Blazamut has a similar type of passive ability, and I think you can do like Flambells in the party or something that boosts fire attack, but the main difference is Shadowbeak's unique ability of Divine Disaster is only on him, and it's only for him, and it's a dark ability. No other skill in the game comes close to this, from my experience. Nothing. So that is the strongest PAL in the game. Time for some fun. Let's go. Blazamut. Dead. Astragon, it's your turn, sir. Hello. Even it is resisting the dark type, it does not matter. Goodbye, Astragon. A quick little Jormuntide, perhaps. Thank you for your sacrifice, you little sea worm. 2 PAL fluids, that's terrible. I wish I deserved more than that. Ah, the Azure Fluff Commander. I have come for your fluffiness. Okay, that was... It barely even lived the charge, I'm gonna be honest. But you know what? I'll take it. And I figured we end it with a bang. We'll go for the big boy, Frost Lion. 12,800 health, quite a bit. I definitely don't think I can one-hit this one. But it'll do a lot to him. And a little over 1,000 for the initial charge. Yeah, you know. 3,000 to a level 50 legendary. That is pretty good. And this is why you want the spammable move. Like, look at the poison damage, by the way. 64 a second, every second, for 10 seconds. And then you can reapply the poison whenever you re-hit him with Poison Blast. Although I think there is an internal cooldown, like, it can only be poisoned so many times before it will not be poisonable for like another 30 seconds or so. Because it seems like that's how it works. Nightmare Ball, just a good intermediate timed attack that does solid damage. This will probably freeze me. Oh. I'm not sure what's up with that, but that's cool. It bugged out. I will Divine Disaster again then. And that is going to be really close to killing him. Oh, it did. I was going to say, I'd go for a catch if it didn't. But, yep, no, got him just barely. This is an absolute monster of a pal, and I don't think there's anybody near as strong as him in the game right now. I had a lot of fun trying to min-max this thing to the utmost possibility, and I enjoy trying to find more crazy combinations in the future. So, if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing and or liking, and yeah, thanks for watching.